And then all of this happened. Anyways, so the psychic I usually talk to, she comes live, right? Because we vibe really well. I like her. There's a few of them, but like I know a few of you reached out to me, but like um she came live. Um there's about there's about 200 of us watching the live because I'm like bawling and I was like I'm on Instagram and I was like what am I fucking doing because I just right like there's so many things because I thought I did something wrong and I didn't do anything wrong and that made me more upset. So she comes live and then I knew at that exact moment it had to be something important because she doesn't come live when I'm online unless it's something really important. And so I was like, oh god, I really gotta sit in and listen to what she has to say today. I've made it for two of her lives, right? um she comes live and she said everybody's going through it. She's like everybody's at least the spirit people are, right? um so I'm feeling blood loss, suicidal, confused over like where the fuck my emotions are at, wondering if I did anything wrong, dealing with all this other shit around me. And she comes live and she said it's motherfucking Pisces season. And I was like, holy fucking shit, that made so much more sense. Everybody always tells me, he's like, I should be paying attention because I know I read in things, but that's not like I'm supposed to know these things, but I don't because there's no one here to support me, right? So like I don't. Mm, I'm supposed to be following moon patterns, uh, horoscope nonsense. I don't follow all of that stuff, but I'm supposed to because it's important in context to me, right? But like that's a part of my life I hide, so like there's no point in me going further with it, even though I should. So she's alive now, and she's saying how like it's Pisces season. Everybody else pick up on that, and I was like, oh fuck, I should have known. Pisces is another water energy. So again, we're in this water energy all fucking year. Okay? So everybody, Pisces people, if you don't know, um, they're the type of people who are like, I love being in love. You know those type of people? It's like I love love, you know? Yeah, those type of people, oh Christ. So we're in that type of an energy right now. And I was like, okay, that makes motherfucking sense. Okay, so Pisces is a painful energy to be in. So this is like a make or break. And I was like, oh man, I feel so good. Like I feel like I've been strung along and now I'm like fucking set free. Um so she said during Pisces season, Pisces energy tests us to see what we've learned, right? So I finally come to the end of this cycle where I'm like, do I continue to keep going to get disrespected? Because I know he learned his lesson and he thinks he's not going to do it again. But the fact that he did it once, I don't trust him no more, right? So I'm like, in the back of my mind, he's always going to fucking. There's a possibility he could do it again. That's why I'm leaving his ass now, okay? So there's that direction is to forgive him and keep going, even though I know there's so many red flags along the way and I'm not going to live a fucking happy life. Or I could move on with my fucking life, which is the direction we're going in right now. um I know it looks like I'm taking this easy because I can read the energy, right? If I was a normal person who couldn't read energy, you know how much pain I'd be in, it'd take me longer to fucking recover from this shit. But you know, like we've been through this how many times now, so like anyhow. Yeah, so Pisces season tests you and it wants to see what you learned from the situation you're in. Once the cycle comes to an end, you're supposed to figure out what you learned, right? If I didn't learn anything, I would still be on this side of I go back in this cycle over and over until it fucking kills me. But right now, I learned that like I know my worth. I know what I deserve, right? Um I just lost my train of thought. right? Like, I know what's good for me, right? Like, I always put everybody else before myself, but for this time, I need to figure out what's good for me, right? And Pisces season tests you to see if you learned anything. Because if I didn't learn anything, I would still continue to let myself get fucked over. Yeah, so the energy right now is going to test everybody in different ways, but it's like the same thing. It's like, what the hell did you learn after all of that? Um, it's painful as hell, but it's a blessing in disguise. Like, I'm telling you. So she gave us an example, right? Because she said we all be crying and bleeding and all kinds of shit. So she gave me an example, right? She said, because I'm like bawling. I was like, I can't believe, what the fuck is wrong with me? I was like, why am I crying over this guy who doesn't even, like, a real man doesn't make you wanna, like, cry, right? Why am I crying over this person? What is wrong with me? So she gives us this example, right? Okay, so she does readings when she's live, right? And it's like, because I already read Ian beforehand, she comes live and she's pulling the exact same shit, and I was like, oh my fucking god. This couldn't have come at a better time, right? So she's explaining. She gives this example, okay? Because she said everybody's exes and everything are gonna be talking to them and everything, and okay, anyhow, so she gives us this example where this is how she's describing Pisces season, okay? She said, I'm laughing because it's fucking ridiculous, but she said Pisces season is like being at the club, okay? She said it's like being at the club. It's dark, right? You're in low light, and the music's up. The you're in low light. The music's up, and you're drinking your Long Island iced tea, right? So you're feeling a kind of buzz. So you're not in your right state of mind, right? And you're having a good time at this club, right? This is how she's explaining it, right? And this is how it's making me feel. She's like, it feels like you're at the club. The lights are low. You're feeling this buzz from this Long Island iced tea. The music's up. You're having a good time, right? Right? Was the start, but like of the start of the cycle. She said by the time we get to the end of like the start of Pisces season, right? So we've been feeling this way for a long time. Then by the time Pisces season hits, right? It's like the music cuts off, the alcohol wears off, the lights go on, right? Everything is clear now, right? And then she said you realize you're at the club dancing with a person who look good under those conditions, but as soon as the lights go on and the alcohol wears off and they cut the music, you realize that person is so natural. She said the person looks like disgusting to you, right? She's like, ew, like I was with this person for this whole cycle. She said the same thing for Mercury in retrograde. She says the same thing. She said once you start seeing someone as ugly, they'll forever look that way now. I just like I don't know, I find it ridiculous because it's like once that card, the truth card came up, once this card came up, right, it feels like Pisces season hit, right? It feels like now I'm noticing everything I dislike about this person. It's like, oh, like I'm too good for this. What am I doing? So then she said now that because it's Pisces season, right? And then people like love. So she said For her, she said she's not gonna look anybody in the eye because she said once you lock eyes with someone, you're fucked. You're gonna go back through that cycle again. I was like, oh my god. So she said she's gonna keep her eyes to the ground. She's like, I'm keeping my eyes low. I'm not looking at nobody because it's just gonna cause trouble, right? She's like, it's like she said. She said for her, as soon as the lights turned on and she's looking at this person, she's like, was I really like in the club with you? Who the fuck is? Ugh. And as soon as she explained that, I felt better. She came back again live like a day or so afterward. And the cards are consistent with how I'm reading them, so I know she's a legit reader, right? Yeah, and now we're here. I had a weird day. Feeling better-ish, I guess. Like, I'm not okay, but I'm better than I was that last week of February up until like the start of March. Even though it's only what, the 6th now? Yeah, it's only the 6th now. Yeah. Other reason why I'm here is for the rest of you. You guys, I've documented this for so long. If you guys don't learn anything, because the Pisces season's like, what did you learn? So if you guys didn't learn anything in your situations, at least look at mine and learn something so you guys avoid the pain, right? That's how, because I usually get everything done in one go, and it's because of me observing other people is how I get things done in one go. When you see somebody do something wrong so many times, you can't pause. Like, I don't make those mistakes. This is what any of you watching now, I hope you learned something from me, right? So, like, know your worth. What else do I need to tell you? I don't know. You guys take away the point of the story. Welcome to motherfucking Pisces season. Blessing in disguise. I feel so free. I don't feel like crying anymore, but I'll probably, like, I don't know. I need fucking eye patches. Ugh. Yeah, I'm talking now because I want you guys to learn something from me, right? If you don't want to go through it the hard way, right? Like, learn from me. Fuck. Him not telling me anything is the same thing as him fucking lying to me, okay? Like, I don't put up with that shit. I told you guys this too, that like this is my final lifetime, right? Like, a lot of people aren't gonna fucking believe me because it sounds batshit motherfucking crazy, but I know that for a fact. Yeah, so because I know that this is my final lifetime, I keep telling you guys I have nightmares. Some of those nightmares, when I get closer to you guys, I keep having like past life dreams, right? Like, I remember I remember things from my previous lives. And I know that sounds fucking crazy. The worst part is, though, because it's my last lifetime, you know, like when you're alive, like right now, you guys, all you remember, like, it's more common to remember like all the awful things in life. Like, you remember the bad things more than the good things, right? Because this is my final lifetime, I keep remembering all like the happy memories of like my past lives. So that's why it feels nightmarish, because it's like I don't want to wake up if I'm gonna be in hell here when I was happier before, right? Anyways, the point of me bringing that up now, I don't have all my memories, but I have some of them, and I could tell you guys the story, but the details are still kind of fuzzy. I don't remember which lifetime. Like, I'll tell you guys a story now, because if I die at any point from like now till I don't know fucking when, I'm gonna regret not telling you guys anything. I told you guys, flowers in them don't call me by my name. The name I go by now, right? I don't know what my name was then, but I remember like I had a different name then, right? Um, like it's been so long that it's the details are still kind of fuzzy. Mm, the nightmares I had though that I remember. I remember someone liking me, right? Maybe I should talk about this in third person because that person no longer exists, right? Because like my current state, like who I was then, isn't who I am now, right? But it's the same thing too now. Like you can outgrow people now too, right? Like you could be with someone for so long and then like, right? Like okay, mm, okay, like okay, then let me try telling this in third person because if I sound so fucking crazy if I'm talking about it in first person. Okay, so there's this girl. I don't remember her age. She was young, right? She always died young. Okay. Um. Um. There was a person who took a liking to her. Okay. Nobody teeth my story, okay? Because I'm telling you what I remember. Nobody gain anything from this. Like you can gain lesson wise, but not like right. Like I'm figuring out what I'm doing with this later. Anyhow, there's this girl, and there's this person that likes her, right? She's fucking naive. She's a naive as hell. Okay, I couldn't read at the time. Only seeing the best in people as usual. Um, yeah. So there's this person that likes her. For what reason? I don't fucking know. Um, I don't remember all the details. I don't remember the starting part and like other parts, but I remember there was someone who liked her, right? Nothing was, she was naive, nothing was wrong at the start. But at some point, this person locked her like okay, so this person liked her so much he didn't want anybody else to know she existed, right? He wanted to keep her to himself, okay? And he locked her in this room. It's bigger than my room now, right? It's not like uh um like he kept her there not as a captive, but like he like fuck, how do I don't know if she was married to him, okay? But he liked her so much he didn't want to share her with anybody. He kept her indoors all the time, right? So like I don't know if it was in a room or what, like she was locked up all the time, but she didn't notice because he had everything she could possibly want in the room, right? So she never had a reason to leave, right? And since she was naive, she didn't think anything was wrong because nothing, right? Like everything she wanted was there. Um I don't remember if she liked the person or not, or if he genuinely liked her back or not. Okay, I don't remember all those details. All I remember is that he kept her hidden away, and he kept her happy with everything she wanted, right? Without her knowing. He didn't want her to know that he didn't want anyone else to ever see her, right? So then, I don't think it took that long, but like sometime afterward, she started to notice that like she never went out. It's been a while since she's gone outside or even interacted with people, right? So then she never, I don't remember if she brought it up or not to him. But she started to get unhappy, right? Like the guy would say, there's no way she's unhappy with me because I've given her everything she could possibly want, right? But he's like ignoring her, right? He's not paying proper attention to her. So she's unhappy now because now she knows she's prisoner in this place. Okay? And she was worried too because um if people hear her name and then don't know anything about her, like false things could like her reputation could get so fucked over, right? People choose to believe word of mouth and to believe the person in front of their face, right? Which is another reason why I fucking hate people. So, anyways, she doesn't know what the hell is going on in the outside world, but like she's like, right? So at one point now, she talks to him and tells him because he's willing to give her anything she wants, right? And she didn't say anything that would upset him because I guess she knew or whatnot. I don't remember. So she gets the courage to tell him. I guess he gets injured a lot, right? So she tells him that she wants to learn how to heal wounds, right? Oh, which is another thing I should have brought up too. I was so pissed. Basket and them healed all the wounds off my body, and now I got a fresh wound from Jungkook now, so that fucking pisses me off. anyhow, I can heal quickly now. Okay, so this story now, this dude is always getting injured, right? So she's making it look like she's caring for him, but she's trying to find a way out of this place now without him realizing what's going on. She's trying to get the fuck away. Okay? So she gets up the courage to talk to him and say, because she's making it out to be like, oh yeah, I noticed that you're always like you're like I could take better care of you, right? Because he's always giving her whatever she wanted. She goes and she asks him if she can learn nursing, right? Or I don't know what they called it at the time. She said she wanted to learn like a medical type of skill, right? Where she could um treat wounds and things, right? So, okay. Him thinking she's doing that for him agrees to it, right? He agrees to what she wants. And this is the first bit of freedom she feels, right? Um so she's happy but she's not showing it, right? Because if she shows that she's too happy, he's going to want to keep her back, right? So she ends up I don't know what you call this place. I don't know if it's a hospital or a medical facility or whatnot, but they all in uniform, right? So he also agrees to this because everybody looks the same, so she wouldn't stand out and no one would notice if it was her too, right? So um she spends days there now, right? Instead of being locked up in whatever place she was in before, she spends most of her days in this building, right? And there's lots of sunlight, like there's glass and everything in the sunlight, and everything feels good, and she's interacting with people again. But they're unaware of who she is, right? This guy had some high type of status that, like, if they did anything, you're fucked, right? Um, which is another reason why she couldn't get away, right? Because he had all the power to fucking control her. Okay, so she's in this medical facility, hospital, I don't know what it is. There's like basic hospital beds. And people coming in and out. Like the place is really nice. And she treats the wounds of the people there and interacting with them and everything. Okay? Which is what made her happy because I don't know if they found out her identity or whatnot, but they knew she was like a bright type of an energy, right? So then one day people in there were talking about her, right? This new person comes in, right? He's hella injured, and they're talking about her, and they're telling this guy all the good things about her, right? But he's doubtful. He doesn't believe shit from other people's mouths. He'll believe it when he sees it, right? Okay? So he's hella injured. She meets him. I don't remember what happened that day. She meets him at some point in the day, okay? And he's doubtful of her. He doesn't think she's genuinely nice, right? He thinks she's just acting that way, right? But she was genuinely concerned, right? She's like, oh man, these people coming in and out with all these things, all of these like flesh wounds. So the whatever she was treating him for was a little bit more serious than the others, right? It's not like a scrape and things that heal after a couple of days and then you don't have to come back, right? His thing was more serious, so she had to go back frequently to see him, right? Okay. I don't want to tell you guys this fucking story because these are like my fucking past memories and they hurt. Okay, so his wound takes a while to heal. So on the final day when he's supposed to he's supposed to leave the hospital, right? Like he's all healed and supposed to go. Somewhere along the way she starts to like him, right? And he starts to not doubt her anymore, I guess, but he wasn't sure whether he liked her or not because I don't know what his life was like outside of the hospital, right? So right before he's about to leave, she acts on her feelings, right? Because she figures she's never gonna see him again. She's just gonna tell him how much she liked him, right? And then it'd be over, right? Just tell him you like him, and then like wasn't expecting it to go anywhere, okay? And then to her shock, he liked her back, right? But she couldn't read at the time. She didn't know that it wasn't at the same level. This is where everything went to shit because if he had just rejected her in the first place, none of her lifetimes would have gotten fucked over until now, okay? Anyhow, so thinking that they have mutual feelings for each other now, right? What happened after? Like I remember 3 things from that point in time. I remember having everything I wanted, but not being allowed to leave. Then I remember having a place to escape to and like interact and be happy with people, and then I ended up liking someone else. Even though I think I was married to this guy here, right? I'm confused now. Because I felt like he had ownership of me, right? Like I feel that. I feel ownership here. But I ended up liking someone else. I don't think it was mutual here at the start. I feel like I was like roped into that. Yeah, ends up liking somebody else. Somewhere along the line, this guy finds out now. Or someone's a snitch in the fucking hospital and lets him know. Something happened, right? So then the third nightmare now that I had, the girl and this guy now, they always have secret meetings at night, right? I don't know if I should be leaving out details. But anyways, they have secret meetings at night, right? And their feelings keep growing and growing. This guy, like, so this guy has some like really high status power type of thing. This guy's like next to nothing, right? To near the ground, right? So even if he wanted to take her away from the situation she's in, he couldn't because he had no power over this guy, okay? Um so they used to meet at night in secret. And that's like the happiest point in the happiest points in her memory. Or was she like no, she wasn't married to him. She was supposed to be married to him, but it never went through, right? She wanted this guy here. Somebody found out about this shit and aimed to kill him. Okay, this is where this is going. He was aimed like he had like a death mark on him, okay? Again, this person here doesn't want to let go of her, right? He gets upset when he sees her with this guy because he knows like she doesn't have feelings for him. But he knows he can't give her the life she wants. So like this dude's conflicted here, right? So he's like willing to give her away, but at the same time he doesn't want her to go through a whole bunch of shit, right? So it's a lose-lose situation regardless, right? Um so he's perfectly healed now, but he's sent off to go and do something that could get him killed now. She doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't know like he's off to go do a he's off to she thinks he's off to go get killed, right? And at this point she's upset now. I don't know if it was the guy here or somebody in this here lied to her. So this is why she hates liars now, right? Someone lied to her and told her that this dude was dead. Right? That they sent him off to go get killed. Right? So she wouldn't have a reason to